Good evening, everybody. We're gonna wait until people jump on and just come on in to the Facebook Live Thursday evening, 6:30 p.m. This is where I'm gonna be until further notice, so I will be here. But come on in. I'll start in a few minutes, just waiting for people to jump on and come and jump on my live tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit more personable and a little bit more close to home, talking about purpose and talking about my life in general, not in a lot of detail, but just kind of the surface and just looking at how me personally, how I went from pain to purpose. And so, as I said, I'm going to give a few more seconds, and then I'm going to jump into my content and jump into my story. And I would appreciate if you give me some thumbs up, give me some likes, give me some. Hey Patricia, hey sister, what's going on, girl? Um, that's my sister friend, all of that, family, okay, all of that stuff. Hey, Mr. Robert Hilton, how are you? I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for jumping on this evening. Raven, I see you. Thank you all so much. And so I'm just gonna jump in and just all right. Had a little difficulties, right? Technical difficulties. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just jump on into, I don't want to keep you all long tonight, but I do want to jump into the message or what I'm going to talk about. As you can see, it talks about how I went from pain to purpose. And if you don't know me, my name is Lewana Harris, also known as LewanaMichelle. And I enlighten, encourage, and empower you to live to your fullest potential. That's what I do. That's my life purpose. That's everything. Everything that I do is tied to that particular statement, my life statement. That's just a part of my life. But as I go into my story, this is for tonight. These are for this statement or this content or the information I'm going to bring is going to be for the person, the woman, or the man that is in a position right now. They may be in a leadership position in corporate. They may be in a leadership position in church. They may be, just in a position of power. But however, they are still trying to find their position within themselves. This is also for the woman who is, or the man who is still trying to find their way. They may have overcome obstacles. They may have overcome some things in their childhood, but now they're grown adults. And now you're a grown adult, and now you are like, man, what's this purpose? What's this all this purpose stuff? What is this thing? What is this? I've accomplished some things. I may have a degree, or you may have a degree, but you're still in a place where you really trying to figure out where do you fit or what is it that you're supposed to be doing. And so this is also for the person that really considers themselves a good person. You say, you know what, I'm really a good person. I tend to think that I treat people very well. I treat others the way that I would want to be treated. I do that. But at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And so as we go through the information tonight, I'm not going to be before you long, and I say that all the time, but seriously, because I do want to I want you all to be able to ask questions. I want you all to be able to, if you want to send me a message, I can definitely answer some questions tonight. But a little bit of my story. I was definitely born and raised here in Tulsa. This is where I am, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I graduated from high school. I went to college in Atlanta. Once I graduated from college, I ended up, definitely getting married. And I ended up getting a divorce, ended up going into losing my home, having to move into an apartment, lost an apartment, and had to come back home to Tulsa. And so that was a whole painful situation within itself because of the divorce, because of losing just about everything. The sudden relocation. If you looked at my YouTube video that's in the post, there's kind of like a surface of my story, but this is what happened. Like I went and I pretty much lost everything, lost my home, and had to come back to Oklahoma. But in all of that, there are some things that I learned, because when I came back, it was almost hitting the reset button, and it was almost to the point where God was saying, okay, now I'm going to offer you a chance to start over. And sometimes when we're going through pain, sometimes when we're going through situations that is very uncomfortable, that's very hurtful, we don't know what it looks like on the other side, but we just say, if we keep going, and I'm just going to tell you, if you keep going and keep moving and keep walking in faith, then you'll definitely get to the other side, and that I will definitely attest to that. But one of the things that kept me moving is the fact that there was a story there was a lesson that my mother actually taught me, and she didn't know that she was teaching me. But what kept me going was this idea that I didn't discover until later, that you lead from the front, and you always walk in the front. You do things from the front, because too many people have died for you to sit in the back, to have died for you so you won't have to sit in the back. And so when I learned that lesson at a young age, when I would sit in the back of the classroom, and my mother was asking me, like, why you sit in the back? And I'm like, I don't know. She said, you don't ever have to do that. You don't ever have to sit in the back of anything, because too many people have died for you to sit in the front. And so those are the things and other lessons that kept me going. And so when I came back home and I started learning like who I was, and I started learning my purpose, and I was held accountable, and then I was connected to the right people, there's a few things that I learned, and I just wanted to share with you, that when you're going through pain, to get to that purpose, people are always like, how do I do purpose? How do I get to purpose? What is this purpose thing? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you a few little tips that pretty much helped me. So one of the things that I had to do going through all of those different seasons of my life, the pain, I had to literally sit down and refocus. I had to refocus my faith. I had to get back to the place where God had me in a place where I had to refocus my faith. I had to say, okay, Lord, let me increase my faith. Let me what does this faith walk look like on a different level? I had been raised in church. I had, learned about the stories of the Bible. I've learned about God sent His Son and all of these different things, but I never really, it never really applied to me, I felt, until I got to the place where that's what I needed. And I was able to apply what I learned. And so I had to refocus my faith. I had to refocus and center my life around my faith. And going through pain is definitely that catalyst that will push you into that faith walk in another level. So when you are going through that, don't allow your pain to push you away from your faith. Allow that to draw you to that. Allow you to continue to be drawn to your faith even more, because that is what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to keep you moving forward. And so another thing, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, was accountability. It was the accountability piece. When I came back and I started learning about my purpose, I had leaders, you all, that were over me, that were encouraging me, that were always just uplifting me and telling me, this is so much greater in you, because I was at a place where it was a depression. It was a series of thoughts that that I was like, man, I'm not enough. I don't feel enough. You know, I've lost everything. How do I get back? How do I start over? But those things happened, and I was connected to the right people because they were my leaders. They were encouraging me. They were speaking life into me. They were speaking the word into me. They were showing me how to walk this thing out, how to walk out faith, how to do that. So the accountability is so important because you need people around you that is going to lift you up, not pull you down, especially if you are trying to get to another level, especially if you are trying to overcome pain, especially if you are trying to get out of this traumatic experience or the things that are really holding you back. You want to get to a place where people are going to help pull you up and not push you down and not make you feel so bad and not make you feel so horrible about some of the decisions that you made. So you want to get around people that are going to encourage you, that are going to help you, that are going to show you how to walk out your purpose, that are going to help you in those different arenas. And so they're also going to tell you the truth. So you don't want anybody that's just going to be in the same boat as you. You want people that's going to tell you the truth about, you know what, okay, Lewana, you know you were wrong for that. Or you know what, you know that you shouldn't have said that. No, you don't, you know, in order to get away, you have to forgive. You have to do this. You have to do that. And so you want people that's going to hold you accountable to what it is that you say you really want to do. We always, I would always hear people say that, yes, Lewana, can you hold me accountable? I want you to be my accountability partner. I want you to do this. Hold me accountable for my actions. I really want you to help me out. But then when I really start holding people accountable, they don't really want that accountability. And so I when I say you want accountability, you have to really want that accountability and really be open to feedback and really be open to people that are going to pull you up and not push you down. So that's number 2. So number 3, I really had to reestablish my identity. So there have been times when I would find identity in, lost myself in marriage or the things that were going on, or lost myself in my children, or lost myself, just in certain situations. And so in order to go from that pain to that purpose, I had to reestablish my identity. I had to figure out, wait a minute, okay, going through my journey to purpose, like, who am I? Who did God say that I am? What does that mean when it says I am a child of God? As I said before, I was raised up in church, raised up to hear the stories of the Bible, raised up to know all of these stories and know that God did all of these, that Jesus did all of these miracles. But now I was at a point now, what does that even mean to me? And you have to get to the point where you have to establish or allow God to establish your identity in Him. You have to understand, who does He want you to be, not who it is that you feel like, or somebody else feels like you need to be. Who does He want you to be? Everyone on this earth is called to a purpose. And as I posted before on my page, and this really spoke to me, and I mentioned that, you know what, you cannot get to a place of victory wearing somebody else's armor. You cannot get to a place of victory if you are continuously comparing yourself to other people, because you have skills that you're supposed to do. You have skills that you're supposed to apply, that you are able to do the things that you're supposed to do here on this earth. And if you don't apply those skills, then they're just going to go to waste. So you have specific purpose for your life that you are supposed to do and supposed to get to right here on earth. And so you really have to establish that identity and really look at and really ask, what is it and what is it that God really wants me to do? Okay, so then number 4, and this is sometimes pretty challenging because you have to make those hard decisions. Coming back home from Atlanta, coming back from back to Tulsa, that was a huge and a challenging decision for me to make, because I literally grew up. I tell people that I was born and raised here in Tulsa, but I grew up in Atlanta because that's where I really found a person that's of myself that, I pretty much grew up. I was 18 years old when I left Tulsa, and then I grew up to a certain extent in my 30s when I was in Atlanta. So I had gotten to a place where I had my circle of friends. I had my job straight out of college, and so I felt like I was doing pretty well. But then coming back home, that was a huge decision. A decision of being able to, or having to make hard decisions in regards to letting some people go. Hard decisions, because you have to cut people if you are trying to grow. There are some people you just gonna have to let go of, and those are challenging decisions that you have to make, because sometimes we can get in comfortable situations and comfortable relationships where like it's just all you know, and that's a decision to make. So that's another point. You have to make hard decisions. You have to go away from your status quo and get to a point where you're like, man, I have to let go of something to gain something new. And there's that fear factor, because when we're trying to go to another level or trying to go to another dimension, the fear is of the unknown. Like, we don't know what's on the other side, but you'll never know unless you let go of the old and embrace the new. So that's a hard decision as well. So you really want to make sure that you're letting go of those old things that are no longer serving you, that are no longer giving you positive energy, that are no longer increasing your capacity to grow, and then grab hold to those things that are going to push you and going to pull you into your next level, into your destiny. So that's number 4. And then number 5, and this is huge because I literally had to get to a point multiple times in this particular area, and that is the area of forgiveness. And it was easy for me to forgive other people. It was easy for me to forgive things that, people have said things about me or called me certain things, and that's fine. But the person that I had to forgive was myself. I had to get to a place where I had to forgive me for what I did to me. And when you are trying to move forward and trying to get to another level and trying to get to another dimension, you have to forgive yourself for what you did to you, for the decisions that you made, for the things that you have done or maybe even said to yourself, or you've put yourself into different uncomfortable positions, and you have to forgive yourself for that. You have to take responsibility at some point and say, I made this decision, I did this, I said this, I put myself in this position, I take responsibility, I can't do anything about it. I made the decision, I have to take responsibility, and I can't do anything about the past. The only thing I can do is move forward. And you have to forgive yourself. You just have to forgive. You have to let go. Now, forgiveness does not mean I forget. Okay, I want to make that clear, because there are some things that you have to remember, because it's something that's just a part of your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you hold on to it. That doesn't mean that that you are just allowing it to cause you to be in that same place. But the thing about it is, the true forgiveness is when you can think about that and you don't get those same emotions, or that anger or that pain and all of those different frustrations, all of those different emotions don't come up as like it first happened. So the forgiveness is, again, it's not just saying I forgive or forget. No, that's not what that is. It is just saying that you no longer have a hold on me. What you did to me, what you said to me, or whatever happened, I let go of that, and it no longer has any control over what I do, how I am moving in my life. And so that was a huge point. And again, you have to not only forgive the person or what they've said or done, but you also have to forgive yourself in order to definitely walk in purpose. And so a final note is just basically, sometimes pain is good. Pain can be good. And as I mentioned on one of my other videos, there's this concept called post-traumatic growth. And that is just basically saying that out of a trauma or traumatic experience, that you are now growing. You have grown, or you have changed your mindset. You are now looking at a different way of thinking. You are now thinking about ways that you can grow even further. But had that traumatic experience not have happened, then you wouldn't have grown. So I want you to look up that post-traumatic growth. If you ever Google go through that. People go through those traumatic experiences, but you can definitely grow out of that. So I want you all to be encouraged and to say, you know, you may be in a painful situation right now, or you may have gone through a painful situation, but the thing about it is you can overcome that. You can overcome the pain. You can definitely walk through purpose. You have to forgive. You have to get around people that are positive. You have to make sure that you are refocusing your faith. You are refocusing, you're reestablishing your identity. You are really looking at, who am I and who does God say that I am? Yes, you're going through that process. It is a process. And don't think that it's going to happen overnight, because it's not. It is a process. But those are just some of the ways, and I'm still overcoming, still going through, still going to another level in purpose. And again, you have to, it's just a process. It is definitely a process. Going from, again, just pain, going from things that you've gone through, but you can definitely walk in your purpose. And then also, when you are at a point where you find your purpose, it is so hard to go back. Like, you can, once you find it and once you start walking in it, you cannot go back. It's not, it would be very comfortable to try to go back to a place of not walking in purpose. And so I just wanted to share that this evening. That's just a smidget of my story. That's just kind of the surface. I didn't talk about the thoughts. I didn't talk about the darkness. I didn't talk about the depression. I didn't talk about the self-doubt. I didn't talk about all of that other stuff. I didn't talk about the losing weight. I didn't talk about there's a whole lot of stuff that I know that, you know, it could be talked about, but I did just want to come on and share a few points about how I got from pain into an area of purpose. And so if you have any questions, you can definitely type them in the chat, or you can inbox me. I'll try to answer your questions as much as I can. I will be doing future videos every Thursday. I'm right here on Facebook Live. If you have a topic that you would like to talk about, or if you would like to discuss, or if you would like for me to discuss and talk about, I will definitely be open to that. But this is all I have for you tonight. I do want to shout out to my girl Tamika White, who has her shirt, Nothing But Positive Energy, that I have on right now. And I want to just shout her out. She is doing awesome things. If you go on her website, nothingbutpositiveenergy.com, she has her own story that she would like to share, and that's some things that she's trying to do just for the community and for others as well. But this is her personal mantra, and I can dig it. Nothing but positive energy, because I totally agree with it. So I just want to shout her out, but you can definitely get one of her shirts at nothingbutpositiveenergy.com. I will put the link in the chat and in the message, so you'll have access to that. Thank you all so much for watching. I know that you can be anywhere else, but right here sitting watching me on Facebook Live, so I don't take it lightly that you are sitting here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Again, I'm LewanaMichelle, and I am here to enlighten, encourage, and empower you to live to your fullest potential. So go do it. Thank you.